loyalties say. It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala. Goal! Bafana, Bafana! Goal for South Africa! Goal for all Africa! Jabulila, rejoice!
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of How's Your Touch? We've been gone for a while, but we're finally back now. Blame Tate. For those of you who forgot, this is a podcast where we try and meet weekly, to discuss the latest soccer news, play games around soccer, just build teams, whatever comes to mind on that day, to be honest. And I am your host, Darren Baidu, aka the Oracle, because I see things other people don't see. And my co-host is Tate Alonso. Anything to say to the people, Tate?
Hey, we film when we want to. Not that we really have fans asking us to film, but I just want people to know we film when we want to. So weekly is a loose term, but yeah, happy to be back. Not much else to say.
Perfect. Tate, are you going to tell the people what we're doing today since it was your idea?
Yeah. So, we talked a little bit before we filmed. We don't really want to talk about transfers. I mean, who really cares, honestly? Way too early to do season predictions. No one really cares about last year. So we were just thinking of something, you can do at all times. So I said, let's do a start sub sell. I didn't really give Darren what the parameters would be. I did all active players, but we could have done throwbacks if we wanted. So yeah, we'll do 2 or 3 per person depending on how long it takes, how much argument there is. I tried to make mine a little challenging, but we'll see. Darren, would you like me to start with the start sub sell?
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna do the one I've been wanting to do for a while. Just because one of these players is my favorite player, and I think the other two are also very good, similar levels. So I did Bukayo Saka, Michael Olise, and Rodrigo. And I'm doing this from the right wing standpoint because I know everyone says Rodrigo's best in the left wing, but I'm doing it. You're building a team, and this player's your right winger. So I don't know how you would rank it.
Go ahead, Tate. Is your start sub sell?
All right. So me personally, just based on what I've seen this year, I would go Olise, Saka, Rodrigo. Olise start, Saka sub, Rodrigo sell. At the start of the season, I would have had Saka first, Rodrigo second, and Olise third. So I would have started Saka, benched Rodrigo, sold Olise. Rodrigo, I just feel like, his skill set from what I've seen is awesome, but I really feel like we haven't seen, I've been saying this for 2 or 3 years, and I just still feel like I'm not seeing it. And it's partially because he's on a team where there's so many weapons that maybe he would be better in a system where he's alone the main weapon. But for me, I just haven't seen it. So it's hard for me to say from 2 guys that I've seen kind of carry a team. Now, for me, Saka and Olise was a little more challenging. I think Saka's injury kind of downplayed him this year a little bit because, again, like I said, at the start of the season, he was my number one. I think you saw the downfall of Arsenal when Saka was not playing, which was a big inhibitor to the team's success, I feel like. And when he came back, I feel like he was back banging goals, back, assisting. But for me, why I think Olise has just been a whole new level is I'm just watching him now for Bayern. And right now, as we're filming, the Club World Cup's going on. And I'm just watching him, and he's just making these defenders look like they're non-league defenders. I didn't watch a ton of the Bundesliga. I even watched a little bit of the Nations League, and Olise just, again, I feel like he's at a point now where he's growing into the role as playing in a bigger team, and he's playing with a bunch of stars like Rodrigo is. But every time I watch Bayern, he and Musiala are the standouts for me. So I just feel like goals and assists from him is top notch. Not quite to the level that I think Saka might be, but the reason I like him more than Saka is I just think overall game, I think the way he influences a game attacking wise is better than Saka. I think well-rounded standpoint, you might be looking at Saka. He's works back more. He's more involved in, those deeper lying plays. But for me, Elise attacking threat. That's how I would do it. I would go Elise, Saka, Rodrigo. I honestly think Elise is probably the second best right winger in the world right now. So that's mine. I have a feeling you'll disagree, which I honestly think is fair, but
I do disagree. Mainly because when we've seen both players in fully fit seasons, Saka's been the better player every season. I think choosing the one season where Saka was quote unquote had an average season, like was gone for 3 months, 4 months.
It's crazy to say he's average because at the start of the season he was looking like the best player in the league.
He was going to break the assist record.
He was cooking.
And then first start back, Real Madrid drops 2 great performances on 70% fitness. Like, bro, we go and play PSG, and I know he had that big missed chance, but like Saka was super influential in that game. Literally looked like the only side where anything would get created. And this is someone coming back from a 3-month injury. I also just think, like, if you look at Arsenal's biggest moments this year, like, it's hard to look past Bukayo Saka in every moment we've had this year. Whether it's earlier in the season against Man City, that like actual like game us would be going for it. Like Saka was super influential in that game.
Very good. Yep.
So yeah, I understand Elise. Like my only caveat with Elise is, and what doesn't make sense to me is how much you downplayed Harry Kane's performances in the Bundesliga.
Facts.
Are using the same league Elise plays in to hype him up. Like,
but
and my issue also then with bringing up the Club World Cup is, bro, they played Auckland City FC, bro.
No, I agree with
what you're saying, and I don't like personally. I'm not downplaying those performances because I think, like, you will see them against big opposition, which is what I was trying to say with the Harry Kane argument.
Yeah,
but like, I agree. I just think Elise is a great attacking threat. Like, I would also have Elise starting or bench. I think Rodrigo is a clear option. And I don't think it's because he has stars on his team. I think certain players are able to capture moments. And obviously, like, right wing isn't his preferred position. And, like, that's my thing. I think he would perform better on the left wing. But I haven't gotten to see it.
Exactly. That's what
based on what all of these 3 players have done in that position. Like, I think he would be third. And I know people are going to be like, oh, but Saka and Elise haven't come on and won a Champions League team. But, like, bro, I don't know if one moment is, like, overtaking the entire catalog of performances some of these players have put up. Like, then why aren't we saying someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is better than Thierry Henry for helping Manchester United win the Champions League? So I personally wouldn't have that argument, but I do think Rodrigo is very good, but I do think he will be much better on the left wing. And unfortunately, he doesn't have that ability to play on that preferred side. So yeah, I would go start Saka, bench Elise, sell Rodrigo.
The other thing, just to finish up this argument, the other thing I think that's crazy about these 3 is I do think Elise and Saka have been in environments where they've had to single-handedly carry a team. Yeah. I mean, I talk a lot about the reason I fell in love with Elise was Crystal Palace days. And I felt every time I watched Palace, I remember the game against City where he scored the pen in the, like, towards the end of the game. But like, he just carried Palace, and him and Eze, and a lot of Eze was great, but a lot of it was Elise. You could tell that man was the star of the team. And Saka, when when he first came through, number 77 days, playing left back, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Carrying the team at left back.
Yeah, 12 assists for a season at left back. Like,
and not saying I don't think Rodrigo could do that, bro, but when has Real Madrid been needing to be carried by Rodrigo? And maybe he can do that, but for me, like, I've just seen there's so much what if with Rodrigo, and the other two I'm seeing this is them now. So I agree with you. I think that was relatively between Saka and Elise was more challenging, and I agreed with a lot of what you said with Saka. But you have to remember who I am and who I love, and Michael Elise. I mean, I'm always just going to argue for the guy, but I truly think that was a good debate there. Now, what's your first one?
My first one is Alejandro Balde, Nuno Mensch, and Theo Hernandez.
Oh, this one's easy for me. Let's hear it for you first.
Me? Nice and simple. Balde starting, benching Nuno Mensch, selling Theo Hernandez.
Talk to me.
Bro, I think, like, I get the Nuno Mensch hype. Like, I really do. Like, and I know people will be like, bro, after the year he's probably been the best left back this year. But I want to caveat by saying, I think if Balde was fit the entire season, we would have seen Barcelona in the Champions League final. And I think either team wins that. But I do think going up, defending, I think Balde is better than Nuno Mensch. I think Nuno Mensch is slightly better than Balde defensively. However, Balde to me is a left winger, bro. He's a left winger who can play left back. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, bro, on the ball, the combinations with Rafinha, and like that's what people forget is that, like, and I know you can say the same thing for the PSG team, but like not really. But for Barcelona, Rafinha doesn't play on the left, because they literally leave the entire left flank to Balde if he's on the field. It's literally like, bro, this is your part of the field, win every duel out there, and whether it's offensively or defensively. Nuno Mensch, I think if we're going off just this year, I think he's the best left back. I think if you're looking at the entire package of Nuno Mensch, I think he will probably have a better career than Balde, because I think he is a little more robust. It feels like he is the one you call upon when you're about to face a super tough right winger, because he can shut them down defensively and give them a threat. Whereas Balde, it feels like you play him because he will give that right winger a threat offensively, and that right winger has to decide, am I going to drop back with you or not? Like, I think Balde is a very, very offensive thinking fullback, which I like. I do like very much. I think it depends on the team you play the player on. But, bro, I think on the ball, bro, like, I think both of them are different. And if it's not clear enough, I'm starting Balde, I'm benching Mensch, and I'm selling Theo Hernandez. I don't know, bro. Like, 2 BLM fullbacks, I'm here for it, bro. I just give Balde the edge because I do think he's a little bit more skillful. And I think that skill to me overweighs the little bit I think Nuno Mensch is better than him defensively.
Yeah, I respect the BLM hype. I think, we're talking about two ballers, and then we're talking about Theo Hernandez, who for me what came onto the scene like crazy, but I mean, I just don't really love the guy anymore to the extent that I did. I don't even think I guess he's the best left back at France, but I feel like Deschamps doesn't even, like, he's just like, I have to pick you. Like, I think he'd rather pick his brother, honestly. Yeah. So for me, Theo Hernandez, I mean, listen, sometimes, you kind of fall off, and I feel like he's kind of fallen off at a young age. People peak in high school, they say. He peaked at a young age, bro, but in his prime right now, he's fallen down. So he's, for me, the easy sell. Now, for me, you made good arguments for both. I didn't even have a question when I heard it. Nuno Mensch Nuno Mendes starts for me. And Alejandro Balde is the sub. I agree with a lot of what you said with the attacking threat. I do think that Balde gives me more left wing vibes than Nuno Mensch does. And I think, the way football is moving right now, that's very similar to what we're seeing, where your outside back, has got to be up and down the field, but that attacking threat is more important now than ever. For me, the thing that did it for me, that clarified that this is my outside back. Again, I've been watching a little bit of the what's that competition called? That international competition that I keep forgetting what it's called. Nations League. Nations League. Bruh. When I tell you I've never seen a 10 out of 10 fullback performance till that game, I'm very serious.
He was very good.
And the thing that's crazy for me is I didn't rate his attacking threat to the extent until I saw that game. I'm like,
bro, he's very good. Like, he could play left wing back.
Dude, I think it's PSG just doesn't need him to do that right now because they've got so many ballers, bro. But Portugal needs
him and Hakimi, bro. Like, it's almost like they literally copied the speed and attributes from each other and said, let's put it on both fullback.
Yeah. And dude, it's unreal to watch. For me, what I love about Nuno Mensch is that game. I think his attacking threat was amazing. He scored a rocket. He was up and down the field. He was skilling players. He was doing all types of stuff. And I hadn't seen that side of his game. And I love that. I mean, I'm all for that. But for me, what I love about him is Lamine Yamal was silent. And people were gassed.
Not just silent. Lamine, we can be honest. Yamal was scared, bro.
He got hooked too.
That was the first time I saw Lamine pick up the ball, look at a fullback,
and go backwards, bro.
Oh God! Like, I literally saw it happen, and I was like, "What the hell?"
And Darren and I aren't hating on Yamal, bro.
No, I think it's testament to
exactly.
Like, I think it is because I personally think Yamal doesn't turn away from anybody, no matter how good of a defender you are.
Exactly.
I think he literally he tried to let me go outside. He tried to let me come inside. And Nuno Mensch was like, listen, bro, not today. Not today. Like, in another lifetime, not today.
Yeah, facts. I think he's just, and, for me, I just think about, who would the best teams in the world pick? And Barcelona is one of them. And I do think Barcelona, if they have both fit, are going to choose Balde. I think a lot of it comes from the way they play, and a lot of it comes from him coming from the academy. But I look at almost any other team, and I'm like, I think Nuno Mendes is just the better outside back. I think, that attacking threat is extremely important. But for me, I think he does it in a way where it's not just I'm low-key a left winger. I'm also defensively very sound. And again, I think I might be underestimating or underplaying Balde's defensive capabilities because I don't think he's a bum on the defensive side like some people will describe Trent, which I also think might be a little bit of an over-exaggeration. But either way, I just think Nuno Mensch is so defensively sound, and so good at stifling players. I think I watched almost all of PSG's Champions League run. Salah got hooked as well. I mean, we're talking players that, the best wingers in the world. Salah got hooked. Lamine Yamal got hooked. I mean, there's just nothing coming down that side. So for me, if I have a lockdown defender like that, I think he's a generational left back.
Who didn't get hooked?
Who?
Who didn't get hooked?
Hey, bro. We're not like Elise didn't get to face him. But I mean, it might say something about the best right wingers in the world. But no, just kidding.
No, I agree. I think even the Saka game, I'm not leaving thinking Saka won that battle. I left thinking, bro, that was 50-50, which I think again is crazy to say because
exactly as a left back,
he's a left back against arguably one of the best players in the world, and he's done it game after game after game against the best players in that position. I think you have to give testament. But I'm just saying, I've been a Balde fan for
and again, it's similar to Elise. It's personal preference. You know what I mean? I think both of them are crazy, but
on the eye, I prefer Balde, but I do recognize that and I said earlier, I think if you're looking at the entire package, I think Nuno Mensch probably will have a better career, probably is like quote unquote a more fitting left back. But I think like with the type of football I like to watch, where like even your fullbacks are overlapping. Like I would prefer a Balde in my team. But yeah, I think ability wise, bro, like the two of them are gone. Like I think it's the two of them up here, and then it's everybody else.
Yeah, and
not everybody else, because technically I don't count MLS as a left back. But if MLS was a left back,
he's worse than both of them. But it's
he'd be with them up there.
I got one that I think, I don't think you'll ever hear a start sub sell of these three players. My next two, actually, I really random ones, but this one I really want to talk about because I think one man has been extremely active in the media and people have been gassing him up. So I want to hear your thoughts on this one. So, Jared Branthwaite from Everton, Ilie Zabarini from Bournemouth, and Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah. Oh, so I think his name is Zabani.
Zabani. Sorry, I'm very bad at Zabani. Okay. Well, he's starting for me out of the three.
I agree.
And Jared Branthwaite's on the bench. I'm selling Dean. Now listen.
I'm benching Dean.
And I get it. I was hoping you said the same for me. Again, I'm not gonna keep butchering his name, but I'm gonna call him Ilya because that's his first name, I think. For me, I mean, PSG are interested in him. PSG won the Champions League this year. He's going to that team to start for PSG. I mean, they're looking at 55, 60 million. Listen, Dean Huijsen's getting all of the credit for this back line. Last year, they were great defensively, and Dean was not in the team. This year, he's the one constant in that defense with Milos Kerkez that has been, like, defensively, he's been the cornerstone of this team.
I agree.
I think he is very physically I think he's physically ahead of Dean Huijsen. And Jared Branthwaite, I'll talk on him next after Ilya, but I think he's so physically astute, which is great. Defensive IQ, I think, for him is extremely good too. And I don't think he's got the package of, a rapid player or, he's going to bully everyone on the ball, but I never see the man get beat like crazy. I see his passing range is very good. I just think he's a very solid, smart defender. And I think, this 19-year-old center back that comes in can't do this if he doesn't have a center back next to him that's extremely sound and an extremely good defender. And it's kind of similar, not quite the same as how I view Gabriel and Saliba.
No, that was going to be the comparison I made. Yeah. I just think, like, one of them is clearly, like, smoother and prettier on the ball.
Yes.
And I think because he is right next to somebody who is so robust and so
exactly
like, step heavy and like front, like I'm trying to be on my striker's back. Like I think they are very different center backs and they complement each other very well. I just think it tends to be that like when you have contrasting center backs, people will always rate the smoother one better.
Exactly.
Like, look at Vidic Rio. Like people always Rio is so much better than Vidic because Rio looked pretty on the ball. But Rio will tell you, bro, like, listen, like, that guy was better than me for years.
Yep. And I think, the testament I have to this is, I think we're in a society now where we rate the younger players so highly that I think we almost put them on a pedestal that they're not at yet. For me, the Madrid signing, I get why. They're at a center back crisis and they want that young center back.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But for me right now, if Real Madrid's goal is I want to win, the Champions League, right? I want to be a better defensive team. I don't think he's a better signing than Ilya is for PSG. And I just think, right now, if I'm looking at the center back, who do I want on my team? He would be my first choice. Now, Branthwaite versus Dean Huijsen, all right? I'm going to go to two different things first, all right? Everton have had one of the best defenses in the Premier League for the past 2 years. And I think Pickford gets a lot of the testament to that. I think James Tarkowski gets a lot of testament to that. But the best defender in this team is Jared Branthwaite. And for me, right, I'm looking at body of work as well. And Dean's had 1 year. Branthwaite, for me, has had 2 years.
Yeah, he was injured for a whole year pretty much.
Well, he played half of this year and then the whole year last year, all right? But for me, Dean Hoyson didn't come into like November anyways, so he's almost the same amount of time. And I think the other thing about these two is physical attributes. Jared Branthwaite throws him out of the water, right? Dean Hoyson is a lot smaller, like not height wise, but like stockiness wise. And I think my center back, needs to be a bully. And again, Darren talked about the differences of complementing center backs, and I think that's very important. But like for me, it's harder for me to find that absolute animal in that back line that I need. And the other thing for Jared Branthwaite for me versus Dean Hoyson is I just feel like Branthwaite hasn't even been able to reach his full potential because he's been on a team that's been awful for like 3 or 4 years. Like you put him in that Bournemouth team, bro. I'm telling you, I think that team cooks. His passing range is unreal too. Like he's a solid footballer. Now, I think the Dean Hoyson and Branthwaite is extremely close, and I completely understand having Dean ahead. I think this guy, as a 19-year-old center back, is a baller. For me, his calmness on the ball is unreal. You can tell this guy did not play center back his whole life, right? You can tell he's got that attribute of this man can play football, right? And the other thing, I think, his defensive IQ. I talked a lot about Ilya Zab, however you say his last name. His defensive IQ being great, but Dean Hoyson, I mean, he knows his weaknesses. For me, I've just seen him in one-on-one situations and not been impressed, right? I've seen him, and it's unfair to rate a center back just off 1v1 situations because, I mean, I think that's more an outside backs type thing. But for me, I just see him get cooked sometimes, and I'm like, is this guy really? I think he's just extremely overrated right now. Again, great footballer. I think he's a top center back. But for me, I just think these other two that I've seen more from, I think their physical attributes make more sense. I think they're nearly as good, if not as good on the ball. So for me, that's just how I would rank it. I'm assuming you're going to have Dean and Jared Branthwaite switched, but.
Yeah, I would start Zabani. I would bench Dean Hoyson. I would sell Branthwaite. I think Dean Hoyson is miles better than both of them on the ball. I think Hoyson plays with just like a composure that I don't think you get from a lot of center backs. I think you also can't teach that. So I do understand why teams are taking the risk on him. I do think he is overrated. I think people who are buying for potential rather than what they have seen, even though what they've seen has been very good. I'm picking the two Bournemouth guys also because Bournemouth play football out of the back.
Facts.
Which Everton do not, bro. We do not see their center backs with the ball. And that's not their fault. The issue is the guy behind them. He loses possession second only to Bruno Fernandes in the league, bro. Like, bro, Pickford gets the ball and is just like, listen, guys, it's going up. Like, so I don't think we get to see the Everton players on the ball, especially the center backs, as much as other teams. And I also think defensively they set up a little deeper compared to Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth, you tend to see their players almost running towards their goal more often, whilst I think Everton will have their center backs will have most of the stuff in front of them for most of the game. But I do think Hoyson and Branthwaite is close. I don't want people to get that twisted. I do think Branthwaite is a far superior athlete to Dean Hoyson. And I think even commitment into tackles. I think Hoyson, for me, almost gives me that Lindelof vibe a little bit. Of like, I can be a little soft. I think the difference is the brain. Like you said, the IQ kind of alleviates him from a lot of his issues. Like, he understands, oh, if I'm going wide, like, I'm preventing this from becoming a foot race. Like, I will rather let him come inside than take me down line because I know once he's gone, like, I'm cooked. So I think he does have that understanding. And I think Zabani, to me, is almost a combination of those two other players. Like, I think he has more composure than Braithwaite, but not as much as Dean Hoyson. And I think he has more physicality than Hoyson, but not as much as Braithwaite. And I think that is almost like the perfect combination of like the two players. And yeah, I just think Zabani can do both jobs of what you would have both players on your team for. So that's why to me he's far superior. Like I love a player, especially a center back, who can be the A side center back or the B side center back, just depending on the kind of striker or forward you're going against or who his partner is. So like that's why I would have Zabani. I think Hoyson has the highest ceiling. I think Braithwaite to me is all reliable. I think you know what you're getting from a Braithwaite performance. I think Braithwaite is more likely to give you a 7 out of 10 performance every game. I think Hoyson might go up and down. I think you will have more ups with Hoyson, probably like 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
And I think Zabani will give you 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7, 6, 8 out of 10. Yeah. So, yeah, based on that, I'm having Zabani first, Hoyson benched, selling Braithwaite.
I almost put in Nikola Milenkovic instead of Braithwaite. Would that have changed anything? No.
If you put in Mark Gahey, it would have changed everything.
Mark Gahey, I thought was too.
I would have started the Gahey.
I didn't put him in.
Yeah.
I didn't know
even Murillo or Milenkovic, I think, would have made it a little more interesting because.
That's what I was unsure. I was so close to putting. I changed it right before we started, and I was like, I don't know if he rates Braithwaite higher or Milenkovic because either way, Dean was last for all of those.
Higher than Braithwaite.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think for me, why I put Braithwaite is because I knew you rated Milenkovic very highly, and I'm like, I know he's going to do Ilya, then Milenkovic, then Dean. So I was like, I want to see this because I agree. I think Dean Hoyson, out of all the people we just named, is worse than all of them. And again, I'm not saying this guy isn't good. He's 19 years old, but from what I've seen right now, I rate the others highly. Not saying he doesn't have a higher ceiling than all these people. I'm just saying if I'm building a team right now, I want to go off. Potential is obviously very important, but what I've seen right now is extremely important as well. All the people we named are still young, and I'm getting guarantees with these guys versus Dean.
I agree. And also you have to take into consideration, bro, he's going to Madrid. Like most of the games he's going to be playing for Madrid, they're going to be on the front foot.
Exactly.
Like, they're purchasing him for his passing ability, for his composure on the ball, rather than just his defensive ability.
And he's playing with Rudiger, which
bro,
it's this partnership that works for them because
they have Ferland Mendy at left back. Like they have people there for the combative. Asensio is out there. Yeah, like they dropped Chouameni. Like if they want somebody combative, they can find them. But they are clearly looking for something else. So
and they're clearly looking for, this team. We want to build this team for several years. And he's right now probably the hot commodity. I just wanted to see, and I know if people really know ball in the comments section, I'm sure they're going to be having arguments with us over that because I think a lot of people will say Dean is. A lot of people seeing this list first would put Dean Hoyson as first. But I think this just kind of shows. I wanted to do this one partially for the viewers that care because I think this shows the way Darren and I view football. And I think this is something similar we have. I think our center back actually rating of players is the most similar out of all the positions we have because I do think we see a lot of similarities in center backs. So that was kind of why I wanted to do that one. So
I do not rate.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's the one person he doesn't rate that I rate. I'm trying to think of a center back. I think pretty similar for center backs otherwise, but yeah. And it's also Man United.
Bro, and bro,
I'm Man United bias. Darren's Man United.
Is we are pretending he's good because he's at Man United, but so be it, bro. So be it.
Hey, we tripled him last year. Just saying.
Who's
your next one?
My next one is Kvaratskhelia, Rafael Leao, and Rafinha.
Ooh,
all left wing.
Let's hear yours.
I have two different responses actually. If we're going on actual ability, I'm starting Leao. I'm benching Kvaratskhelia and selling Rafinha.
Okay, I can hear that.
If we're going on application, like what these players will actually do on the field, I am starting Rafinha. No, actually, I'm starting Kvaratskhelia. I'm benching Rafinha. I'm selling Leao.
That's my list. So you got it.
Yeah. Now let's dive into both. I think the clear talented one, and I think if Leao cared, I think personally, people would be talking about Leao in the same likes as Vinny Jr. I just don't think Leao applies himself enough in the grand scheme of games. Like, I don't think he is the type to come short when he's not getting service. I don't think he's the type to like just want the game, like want to win. Like, I think you see that in Rafinha, for example. Like, he will almost will his team into winning games. Like, will leave the right wing position, show up anywhere on the field, which means he can get a touch on the ball, try and create something, which I don't think Leao has that kind of drive. However, bro, like when the ball is at his feet, like it's different, bro. Like it's so scary, bro. Like genuinely so scary. Like when he came on against Spain, bro, like it was scary. Like it almost like Portugal were getting dominated, and then he came on, and it literally became every ball we have, just get it out.
Find his new mensch too. They were
Like
everywhere.
every ball we have, let's get it out to that left wing, and one of those blackies will come up or something, bro. Like, bro, and the scariest part was they would just ping a ball into him, which is supposed to be a 50-50. And it turns into a 70-30 because he's 6'3", bro. Like he's 6'3", just holding off fullbacks. Like it means nothing. But the issue is, like, and you saw in that game as the game continued to go on, like, if the ball isn't coming to him, he has zero interest in the game. It feels like. Kvara, like, bro, he's called Kvara Donna for a reason, bro. Like, he's different. Like, on the ball, off the ball, like, and the funniest thing is, I think people rave all the time about Arsenal's wingers being so good defensively, like us having some of the best defensive wingers in the world. Like people call our wingers wing backs as a joke. Bro, I think PSG have the same thing going on, bro. Like Kvara works back so much.
Yeah, he does.
It's Doué or Dembele on that wing. They work back so much. Like I think it's very rare to see. And that was the thing when we played PSG was that like they were the first team I think we played in years where I felt like their players matched our effort. Like I felt like we're not going to exclusively beat them on effort. Like we have to do more than just go out there and outrun them. Like, and what we saw, like their quality outshone ours. Like they're different, bro. Like, and on the ball, bro, he is the only winger I have seen give Julian Timber a hard time this season. Like he's the only winger. That first game, bro, the first half, Timber was on strings, bro. Like every touch, he was doing flicks over him, and Timber will foul him. He'll do this, and Timber will foul him. Like Kvara is different, bro. On the ball, off the ball, like ball to feet, behind, like running in behind. Like he just has the perfect blend almost. Like if I wanted to go the left winger, like he's strong, he's like 6 foot. Like he's skillful, bro. Skillful. Moves the ball so quickly. And my thing I love about him is he's not just great on the ball. Like, I don't think he's like your layout type. I think he's very good with combinations as well. Like he can pass and then run off, overlap, or pass and then come inside and take the shot quickly. Yeah. And he can come carry the ball into the field as well. Bro, he's different. Like so different. And I think Rafinha is talented. Don't get me wrong. I think he's the least talented of the three. But I think Rafinha has the best application of the three. I think, like, Rafinha has almost maximized his talent at this point, it feels like to me.
Yeah,
I think he knows exactly what he can do. He knows how to do those things well. I think he has grown into being in the right place at the right time. Grown into realizing, oh, like I need to just take this game by the scruff of the neck. Like I think to be on the team with Lamine Yamal and be the savior for the team in so many games is very telling. Like, and I think if you look at his season, bro, he's a Ballon d'Or campaign, bro. And it's not a long like I know Dembele is probably in the front running now because they won the Champions League. But before PSG won, I think everybody would have had Rafinha 1 or 2 for the Ballon d'Or. I I just think he's had a great season, bro. Like he's been very good, and I think it's more than just the numbers. I think he runs for the team. Like he picks up so many different positions. Yeah, bro, I could go on for days, but yeah, I would, for application, if that's the list we're going with, like what if I was picking a left winger for Arsenal tomorrow?
That's kind of how I'm thinking.
So Kvaratskhelia, Rafinha, Leao. But off of like what I see, what my heart is telling me, it's Leao, Kvaratskhelia, Rafinha.
So I have a lot of thoughts about this one. I'm not going to talk for super long, but I do have a lot of thoughts. For me, it's Kvara, Rafinha, Rafael Leao. So kind of your application list. For me, Rafael Leao, I'm going to start on him since I'm selling him. He gives me a lot of, when I see this player at his best, he gives me similar vibes to how I see Rashford when he's at his best. I think that comparison for me is the best way I can explain it. I think he's so easy to minimize in a game because you can isolate a left winger, right? And let's say you isolate Rafael Leao. You said it. He's not coming in to get the ball. He's not working back, so he's not going to win the ball back and then carry. And, his players can dish him the ball, but if he's isolated for so long, and let's say you put two men on him, your winger comes back to defend, your left or right center mid comes back to defend, and you got that outside back. I think he's a lot easier to stifle than the other two. For me, similar to Rashford in that when I see him on the ball and he's at his confidence, he's got his confidence, and he is like, no one can touch me. I think there's very few players in the world that I enjoy watching more. I think he's better than Rashford in that I think his physical attributes and the way he uses his body is better. And I think he has shown me more dribbling more consistently than I've seen it from Rashford. I just like making that comparison because I think the player profiles are very similar. For me, again, like you said, Leao's, in my opinion, the fastest of the three. He's the strongest of the three. He's the least creative of the three, I would say, which is part of the reason. And I think that application-based is kind of why he sits at the bottom for me. And I just think he's the one that I can see influencing the game the least. Now, at his best, I can see him influencing the game the most. But again, what I see more commonly, I think he's the easiest one to stifle. Now, Rafinha, agreed with everything you said. For me, I almost feel like sometimes when I talk about him, I feel like I'm discounting how good he actually is because I think he's an unreal footballer. And I think we're comparing him to the tops, which is why when we say, he's not as talented as the other two, we're not saying he's not a baller. He is. He's a top 3, top 5 left winger in the world. But for me, I'm just looking at these other two, and I mean, I'm still putting him above Leao. But when I look at Kvara, bro, it's a different level of player. For me, Rafinha, again, application-based, we're talking, what are you doing GA-wise? He's maximizing it. At Leeds, we saw him with his skill, but also maximizing, carrying a team, and he did it at Barcelona this year at times. Again, Lamine Yamal, you watch him on the ball, everyone's going to talk about him, but Rafinha was the guy that was pulling them through. I watched both El Clásicos this year. Both games, I thought Rafinha was the best player on the field. I mean, he is unreal. I mean, I say that, and I do remember Pedri being on the field too, and he was unreal. But when I'm talking about those attackers, he's the one where I'm like,
Pedri.
And yeah, I mean, again, it's hard to tell with Rafinha because he's got the best midfielder in the world feeding him the ball. He's got the best or second best right winger in the world that's creating chances for him. And I think Barcelona is just such an attacking team; it allows him to flourish. But what I'm seeing from him now, I feel like he's maximizing his time. And again, if we would have said this 2 years ago about Rafinha, like people would have been like, "Dude, this guy's a bum. He's barely playing. All this stuff." So I think that's a testament to the work this man has put in. Now, last thing I'll say is Kvara. I've talked a little longer than I wanted to, but Kvara, I won't talk as long because everyone knows I rate him. Darren said a lot of what needs to be said. I think his dribbling is by far, in my opinion, it's best or second best I see from a winger. I mean, we're looking at Lamine Yamal with him as another crazy dribbler, but like he's so good at close control. He's so good at navigating tight spaces. His quick burst, I don't think, if you're talking 100 meters, I don't think he's winning a race, but those first few steps, I think he's rapid. And I think his creation is unreal. I think he's so good at creating chances, so good at those short curling shots. I think he's a very clinical final third type player. I think Napoli's when I enjoyed watching him the most. But as this PSG's runs come, again, Desiree Doué got so much hype. Ousmane Dembele got so much hype. Bro, they bought in Kvara, and he achieved exactly what they wanted him to do. He was a 10 out of 10 transfer because their goal with him is let's win everything. Let's win the Champions League. Let's win Ligue 1, which, I mean, to be honest, they were going to win it either way. But he was the signing that got them through that door, and he's just been an absolute joy to watch. So I agree. Again, Darren and I had the same list for that one. If we were doing based off talent alone, I would switch Kvara and Leao, but I see both sides. But I agree. I think that's I love all three players. So both of us could probably talk all day about them.
Yeah.
Now my last one's really quick because it's the battle of bozos. So I just wanted to do this one for fun because they're all bozos. They all suck. Maybe they don't all suck. They all have something I like about them, but these guys I just thought it would be funny. So Rasmus Højlund, Timo Werner, and Nicholas Jackson.
I'm starting Jackson. I'm benching Werner. I'm selling Højlund.
I'm very close between Højlund. Honestly, I'm close between all of them.
No, bro. Nico Jackson is so much better than
he is. He would be my start too. And I couldn't think of another bozo, so Nicholas Jackson was the one that got thrown in there. I do think he's a bozo. I really do. I think
so too, but I think he's
a chaos ball.
He's an ultimate bozo.
What about if we switched to Darwin Nunez, he'd still start, right?
Yes, I would still start Jackson.
I agree. So I agree. I think Nicholas Jackson is
bro, Højlund is the worst, bro. Hey,
at nine right now, right? If I put all three of these guys at 9, I think Timo Werner's getting the least GA for my team.
I disagree. Bro, how many goals and assists did Højlund get this year?
Are we talking all comps? Because all comps is going to adjust it because he scored
you can go all comps. Sure.
But and that makes him sound better than he is, I think. That's the issue.
You can go all comps.
He had 12 GA in 52 games.
But that is terrible.
It is. He really
is terrible.
In my opinion.
How many GA did Timo Werner get this year? Probably more than 12.
A lot less. I'm almost
probably more than 12. Where does Werner even play right now? Tottenham still?
That's what I'm saying. That's how bad this guy is. People don't even know. Listen, last season he had 5 GA. This season he had 4 GA.
How many games though?
Okay, but this is part of the issue.
Okay, Højlund played 52 games, bro. Højlund played 52 games and left with 12, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Timo Werner played 27 and left with 3. So if you double his games, he's leaving with 4. He's leaving with 8 and 4 versus 12 and 52. I think Tottenham is also shambles. So I think it's fair. To be honest, if I'm picking, I'm doing the same thing.
Like Højlund also was playing those games full 90s at striker. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. How many are
Werner was getting subbed on for 20 minutes to come play left wing? Like,
and ideally, if I'm really thinking hard enough, I would probably sell Rasmus, sub Timo, and start Nicholas Jackson. I agree Nicholas Jackson's the easy one. I almost put Darwin Nunez, but I feel like Darwin Nunez is a bozo too. I maybe should have put him because I think he's actually worse than Nico Jackson. But
I think I would have started Nico, bench Darwin. So
yes. But I had to put one in with Rasmus. I agree. I think he's bottom 3 striker in the league. I think if I put Xerxes on this list, for me, Xerxes might start over all of them. So that's why I didn't put him in.
I don't think so. I think I would venture Xerxes. I just bro, I hear people thinking Nico Jackson is a bozo, and he is a bozo.
He's finishing.
It is, but he is still so much better than the other guys at a lot of things. Like running the channels, he's an elite channel runner.
But then I think Xerxes by far the best in build up out of all of those players.
Build up, sure, not hold up.
Well, no, I don't think his physical. Again, Rasmus Højlund theoretically should be the best.
Yes.
He should be the best, and that's what. And I think my frustration kind of clouds my judgment because Timo Werner at a 9, bro. I don't think
Well, he's like what 5'8".
Yes,
like
and I don't think
150 pounds. Like,
where
come
he
on,
came from, bro. He was a 9 for Leipzig. The
sure,
reason
but like he was in behind the 9.
yeah. So, I mean, and theoretically, Nicholas Jackson isn't the most physically imposing striker either. So that's why I kind of thought Timo would make sense. But I really think I'm at the point now where I would take any striker over Rasmus Højlund. And so I feel like I have to say, like, people, there's been a big discourse right now on podcasts I watch. I won't shout them out. I mean, if people want to know, I will shout them out. But like Jamie Vardy, people keep bringing up, would Jamie Vardy be like a signing match? And I think about it, bro. Jamie Vardy's better than Rasmus Højlund.
He is.
Jamie Vardy bags more goals for Manchester United than Rasmus Højlund.
He would.
Nicholas Jackson bags more goals. So for me, I think I have to agree with you that it would be, and this is what I had originally in my head too, as I would start Nicholas Jackson, bench Timo Werner, and sell Rasmus Højlund. But I just wanted to do a battle of bozos because, guys, I mean, if you watch all three of these players and you're like, this is like, people would not be crazy to say watching these guys in their worst moments. Same thing with Darwin Nunez. I'm throwing him in this conversation too. If you threw in their worst moments or just watched a general 90, a random game, people would not be surprised to say this guy could play in League 1 or League 2. Like these guys are at times that bad. Obviously, they're better players than those random moments, but I just think it's the battle of bozos, which is.
I agree.
Hold on.
I did not have a third.
All right, that's a good way to end it. Those clowns. I do think I enjoyed this episode actually a lot more than I was expecting. I think it was a good conversation for some players, and I think the sells we agreed every single one of them on, which is crazy. But I do think, I think it's a good conversation. Like in the comments, please let us know if you disagree with any. Maybe give us your start sub sells for all of them, so we can see, if you agree, disagree. Call us clowns, hate on us. I enjoy the hate. I enjoy getting messages from random people saying you're like a hater of this player, you're deluded, all that stuff. So listen, hit up the comments. Let us know your thoughts on the video. We have been seeing comments about people wanting our Arthur Melo moments. And it would not be right without Sebastian. So I think what I'm going to try to do since we're in the off season is try to get Sebastian, and we'll try to get our friend Danny on too. Maybe we'll start a discourse with those four because that's our key group of talking about football. And I can think of those two having a lot of bozo moments. So I'd love to get them on, but don't worry. We did hear that. Give us any other ideas you have. Like the video. Sorry, we're part-timers. Sorry, we're below part-timers. We're actually like
some timers.
Yeah, like if we feel like it. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, Darren, you can close this.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Tate, I wouldn't be wanting to spend this moment with anybody else but you. Take my hand. Take my hand. Take my hand. Take my hand. Aw, Tate.